Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. Got another Neville nugget, a Goddard goodie. This one's Out of the Law and the Promise. It's a great book. Actually, it's really, if you're going to get a single book, I got the reader. It's got a whole bunch of books in it. But if you get a single book, that's probably one of the really good ones to start with. But anyway, they're all good, right? So how do you choose? How do you choose which baby you love the most? It's hard, I tell you. It's hard. That being said, this is amazing. This is about revision. I've been excited to do this show for a while now, frankly. The way we do revision, the way we look at revision, the way we look at manifestation, I think is very interesting. Comes into play. Got some awesome quotes here from Goddard out of the book. I got like 4 paragraphs. Got some stuff we're going to talk about. Try to make sense of it as we step through it. Should be a lot of fun. So, turn the wheel backward is the chapter. Let's get a little. Let's check out this first paragraph. It's pretty awesome. The perfectly stable or static state is always unattainable. The end attained objectively always realizes more than the end the individual originally had in view. Meaning, a perfect state is unattainable because once you get there, it's a little different than what you thought. So now I've got a dilemma. Oh, now there's this other thing. Oh, now there's this third party. Oh, no, now there's someone else is trying to get the job. There's always something there. That's part of manifesting. It's part of it. It's okay, right? So this, in turn, creates a new situation of inner conflict, needing novel solutions to force man along the path of creative evolution. His touch is infinite and lends a yonder to all ends. Today's events are bound to disturb yesterday's established order. The creatively active imagination invariably unsettles a pre-existing peace of mind. So things are going to happen, right? Stuff happens, as they say. And so, going into this, we're going to manifest a little differently than we thought. Be ready for things. It's okay. We've got more that we're going to talk about, but the questions you have, I'm going to get there, I swear. At least close examples. But understand that in the manifesting process, contrast is going to happen. You're going to manifest things a little bit different. You're going to manifest exactly what you said, and what you exactly said was oddly not exactly what you meant. You're going to manifest a few different things. That's okay. That's part of this. You're not stuck. You can still revise this. Okay? You can change on the fly. Goddard talks about it. It's really awesome. So, one thing that's also good to keep in mind. A lot of us ask the question, am I delusional? Am I crazy to think that, so-and-so's behaving a certain way, and here I am going, la, 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 no, they're my friend. I'm revising the conversation. We're having a discussion. Why is that better? Goddard talks about it. Goddard breaks it down in some wonderful details and kind of helps us understand why, and then sort of, kind of the how, I guess. It's pretty cool. The question may arise as to how, by representing others to ourselves as better than they really were, or mentally rewriting a letter to make it conform to our wish, or by revising the scene of an accident, the interview with the employer, and so on, could change what seems to be the unalterable facts of the past. But remember my claims for imagining. Imagining creates reality. What it makes, it can unmake. It is not only conservative, building a life from images supplied by memory, it is also creatively transformative, altering a theme already in being. So, we've got one of these situations that are happening where something we've manifested in our life that's not quite right. Maybe it's way wrong. How do we get around this? How do we revise it? You do. Now, what a lot of people focus on, and here's one thing I kind of want to get seated into your mind. There's 2 ways I think, there's probably a few ways to look at it. There's a couple solid ways I'm coming at it from. I'm trying to revise this because I'm trying to change what happened in the past. I'm trying to actually literally change the past event so the individual now won't be upset with me. And that's a different way of looking at it from something happened in the past, and what I'm doing is creating a present reality where the fact that I made this mistake in the past is actually forgiven, is actually okay, is actually a lesson that we've learned from, is something that I've grown from, is something that's made me a better person and actually helped our relationship. Maybe we had a breakup because of it. what I'm foreseeing is a world not where this didn't happen, because again, I learned from it. That would be a shame to take that away. But a world where the fact that I did it, like, it's still fine in spite of the fact that I did it. And I think there's kind of two different ways to sort of look at the predicament of revising something. I've heard a lot of people say, well, how can I change it? How can I make it go away? How can I? You don't make it go away per se. What you do is you revise the reality that you're living to where it's not necessarily a problem. You have that conversation with them in your little mental dialogue and say, hey, it's okay. I understand. I know I hurt your feelings. I've learned. And you can hear them kind of saying the response back where they kind of forgive you and they know it, and right? Like, and you move forward through it. Or where you have that interview, the second interview, you somehow eked by because the first one went a little weird, and you know for sure you're going to nail this next one. So you start revising how that ended, and you're like, nah, it's okay. I'll still get the second interview. It'll happen. They'll give me another chance, maybe on the phone, whatever, and just, you know. So you can always sort of start to revise it. So where Goddard continues on, and I think this just gets beautiful, and I've only got 2 more paragraphs. The parable of the unjust steward gives the answer to this question. We can alter our world by means of certain illegal imaginal practices, by means of a mental falsification of the facts, that is, by means of a certain intentional imaginal alteration of that which we have experienced. All this is done in one's own imagination. This is a form of falsehood, which not only is not condemned, but is actually approved in the gospel teaching. By means of such falsehood, a man destroys the cause of evil and acquires friends, and on the strength of this revision, proves, judging by the high praise the unjust steward receives from his master, that he is deserving of this confidence. All that you must do is the illegal practice, which I love how he phrases that, which is essentially falsifying what you've experienced, what you've, quote, seen with your own eyes, what's the reality that you're looking at in front of you. The thing that many of us try to say, well, this imaginal crap doesn't work because look at what's actually happening. And the problem is by looking what's actually happening and focusing on what's actually happening, you continue to repeat what's actually happening. And so, yes, self-fulfilling prophecy. You are correct. Look what's actually happening. Keep looking at what's actually happening. You'll notice you see more of it. Or, as Goddard says, use the illegal technique. It's the one that no one's allowed to. It's the forbidden dance, the forbidden fruit, right? You change it. You look at what's happened and say, no. Here's a way it could happen where it's different, where it's altered. And you play it out where it changes. Now, whether it changes the past or not doesn't really matter. What it's meant to do is change your tomorrow or your today, frankly. Manifesting is creation. It's new. It's always creative. It is not revising what was in the past. The past is the past. The past is gone. Learn from it, move from it. But you can't change it. You can't dwell on it. You can't relive it. You can't be back in it. You can re-experience things that were similar to the past, but you can never have that exact moment back. You can't. You can think about it. You can relive it. But creation is moving forward. It's evolution. It's forward stepping. It's repainting your screen every day. And what are you repainting it with? That's what you're focused on right now. So you use the illegal imaginal practice of falsifying what you know to be true, the third party, the bad interview, someone else is trying to get the job, whatever. The boogie I had in my nose, right? Whatever. Well, you get home and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe that was there. Right? Whatever it is. Your crazy stain on your butt. You didn't know. You're like, oh my God, that looks like that's been on there my whole day. I'm sure of it. Because I remember I sat on a piece of chocolate earlier. Dang, I should have paid attention. Wrong day for white pants, right? I know. I didn't wear white pants. I don't have the guts. But we alter what we're trying to experience, right? We're trying to think about what tomorrow's going to bring. Let's focus on what we'd like that tomorrow to be. Not more of what we're changing, not more of the third party, not more of the bad interview, not more of sitting on chocolate, but the thing that we wanted, the better reality. The call saying, yeah, actually like to see you again if you would like, or we'd like to talk to you about this job opportunity. And you're like, oh my God, I passed the interview. Oh my God. That stuff is what happens when we can revise the way we perceive it. Whether it's right or wrong doesn't matter. What do you want to experience? That's what you're revising it to. Because imagining creates reality. We can carry revision to the extreme and revise a scene that would be otherwise unforgivable. We learn to distinguish between man, who is all imagination, and those states into which he may enter. An unjust steward, looking at another's distress, will represent the other to himself as he ought to be seen. Were he himself in need, he would enter his dream and his imagination and imagine what he would see and how things would seem and how people would act after these things should be. Then in this state, he would fall asleep, feeling the way he would expect to feel under such circumstances. It is that process of living that belief that things have changed, that I have altered this reality, that I've seen it enough in my mind. I've played with this enough in my mind. I've revised this current reality enough, this current experience enough, this thing that and again, if something happened in the past that caused a problem, great. What's the problem? Person's angry with you. All right, so you've done something that's upsetting. That we're revising. Improve. See them liking you. See them reaching out to you. See them saying they miss you. See you guys working through the trust. See them saying, I trust you again. See them bringing that love back together. See this thing to the place that you wish it to be. It's like, monitors, right? We repaint monitors. Monitor refresh rate, right? It repaints itself every, 60 times a minute or 60 hertz, 60 times a second, right? Repaints it a bunch. Constantly repainting. If you don't like the graphic that's showing up on your screen, alter what you're focused on. Change it, revise it. Let the refresh keep happening. You will start to notice differences. That abnormality will start to disintegrate, start to get smaller, start to move. It'll start to leave the screen. It'll start to go away. And it's not because you're focused on it going away. You're focused on this new, altered, revised reality. This new belief on how it could be. Knowing full well that by imagining it and feeling the experience of how it could be, by feeling that and experiencing that and knowing what would it be like if having that, being grateful for the fact that this is what's coming. Oh, I'm going to be so grateful when she forgives me, when all is forgiven, when we've gotten back together, when we worked through this, when we're finally in a happier place, when we're finally trusting each other again, right? Like, evolve it. Work through it. It started off really lumpy when I first started saying it, right? And then it starts to evolve into something a little, that actually sounds pretty good. Move with it. Flow with it. Turn yourself a few degrees at a time. Maybe you're way off base right now. It's impossible. Nothing could ever happen. All right, well, nothing's impossible. All right, I guess something's possible. All I'm really asking for is just for them to reach out to me again, and maybe we can hang, right? Like, just start to steer the ship around. May take a few minutes, but you will get it turned. Have faith. Goddard talks about revision in that what we focus on is what we create. If something's happened, you don't revise that something per se. Yeah, sure you can, whatever. But don't focus on it from that angle, at least. Focus more on the fact that I'm creating this place where this is not a problem anymore, where this is okay, where we're together, where they trust me, where we're in a healthy relationship, and I've still learned my lesson. I still learned whatever mistake I made that's horrible that I'm trying to undo. By making it go away, then who's to say you're not going to do it again, right? There's a lesson to be learned in the mistake. And forgiveness, although not common nowadays, but is actually very much needed in life. Forgiveness is necessary in relationships, period. It's really what love would do. Love will forgive. So imagine that world that you want, where that is given unto you. It's very powerful when you live and know and feel and are grateful for that place that you are creating. Dan Radio Style.